When people talk about the richest companies in the world, you expect to hear names like Apple, Microsoft, or Google. But hidden in that exclusive club, worth more than $2 trillion, is a company built not by a banker, not by royalty, but by a boy who once scrubbed dishes at midnight. His name is Jensen Huang, and if you think your starting point decides your destiny, his life will prove you wrong. Before we begin, do me a favor. Hit that like and subscribe for more inspiring stories like this. Jensen was born in Taiwan in 1963. His childhood was far from easy. At just 9 years old, his parents sent him and his brother alone to America. They ended up in Kentucky, living in a boys' dormitory surrounded by strangers. He didn't speak the language, he didn't understand the culture, and worse, he was bullied constantly. Imagine being a child, torn from your home, dropped into a world where even the kids in your classroom don't want you there. But instead of breaking, Jensen sharpened. He buried himself in books. He became obsessed with engineering, and he worked washing dishes at Denny's, bussing tables just to make ends meet. He wasn't the loudest kid in the room, but he was the one watching, learning, building. And deep inside, he carried a vision no one else could see. Years later, Jensen studied electrical engineering at Oregon State, then Stanford. But what really mattered wasn't the degree, it was the dream. Computers at the time were clunky, slow, and limited. Most people used them for spreadsheets and word processors, but Jensen imagined something bigger. He believed chips could power graphics so real you could feel them, and eventually, machines that could think. Crazy? Maybe. But in 1993, he bet everything on that vision. In a rented apartment, Jensen and two friends founded a little company. They called it NVIDIA. At first, no one cared. Investors laughed. Competitors crushed them. NVIDIA was on the verge of collapsing more than once. But Jensen had a rule. Failure wasn't final. Every time a door closed, he looked for another crack of light. Every time a prototype flopped, he pushed his team to try again. They survived, barely, and then something clicked. NVIDIA developed the GPU, the graphics processing unit. At first, gamers loved it. Explosions looked real. Worlds came alive. But here's where the story twists. Those same GPUs, they turned out to be perfect for something far bigger than video games. Artificial intelligence, self-driving cars, scientific research. Suddenly, NVIDIA wasn't just making chips. They were building the brains of the future. Fast forward to today. Jensen Huang, the boy who once scrubbed grease off plates at midnight, now runs a company worth more than Amazon, Tesla, and Facebook combined. He walks on stage in his leather jacket, not as a dishwasher, not as a busboy, but as one of the most influential minds on Earth. And the most extraordinary part? He never forgot where he came from. He still tells the story of those nights at Denny's because he knows that's where his grit was forged. So here's the question. If a bullied immigrant boy can rise from washing dishes to shaping the future of technology, what excuse do the rest of us really have?